What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside Hollywood with Jazzie Belle. I'm here with the creator, the executive producer, and starring in Godfather of Harlem. I'm here with the one and only Markuann Smith. Hey, Markuann.
Jazzie, what's going on with you?
Listen, this is going to be a good time because we are friends. We go way back, and I'm so excited for everything that you have done. I mean, like I just said with the introduction, you're the creator and executive producer, and you're also acting in it as well. And I know this has been a long time coming for you. So for the people that don't know, talk to me about Godfather of Harlem and Bumpy Johnson and how you got part of this whole series.
Well, it started for me about 18 years ago. There was a young lady by the name of Markuann Johnson, and she's my godmother. And Margaret used to tell me these amazing, magical stories about Harlem. She used to tell me how she used to walk down Lenox Ave and smell fresh laundry hanging out a tenement window, or walking past the Apollo and see James Brown's name on a marquee, or past Nat King Cole's barbershop and seeing Sugar Ray Robinson's barbershop and seeing Nat King Cole getting the shape up. I mean, it was just amazing, these magical stories she used to tell me. But she also told me about her grandfather/father. His name was Ellsworth Raymond Johnson. He was from Charleston, South Carolina. And, you know, about who he was. He was the first gangster African-American that was able to sit down with Meyer Lansky, Lucky Luciano, Frank Costello, Vito Genovese. And she wanted the real story about her father to be told, you know. And I made her a promise that I would go out there and try to fulfill her dreams. She's no longer here. She passed away in 2016. But as you see, you know, I know she's smiling down like it's really happening. And she wanted the story of her father, not the hoodlum story or the American gangster story or the Cotton Club story. You know, Bumpy didn't die in front of 30 TVs talking about Blue Magic and Pepsi is the best product in America. Bumpy actually died in my character's arms. I play a character by the name of Junie Bird and eating chicken and waffles at the time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was a long journey, a long 18-year journey. And, you know, one thing I have to say, Jazz, you know, as part of the person that initiated the process of creating this project, I have a dope, amazing team, you know what I'm saying? So I always have to be humble and shout them out as well, too.
Well, another person that I definitely want you to shout out is Forest Whitaker, who played Bumpy Johnson. Talk to me how he was able to get attached to this project.
Well, it started off maybe in 2015. A good friend of mine, I call him my uncle. His name is Bernard Alexander. He introduced me to my partner, who's James Atchison. And James Atchison actually is a filmmaker. He came down to New York. We had a good conversation. We came to Lenox Terrace to meet Margaret. He came with his wife and his son. So it's so funny. I have 3 white people up in Lenox Terrace, and she's like, "Who's these white folks?" I was like, "These guys are going to help you make your dream come true." And fast forward, James' wife actually manages Forest, and Forest took me under his wing as his little brother, and we built this project together. Forest didn't commit to play Bumpy Johnson. He committed to produce it with me. And after we went through 13 or 14 scripts that finally ABC approved and the team approved, he was like, you know, this is a great project and this is a story that needs to be told.
Wow, I'm glad you said that because a lot of people think this stuff just happens overnight. And you said it
No, it doesn't.
Years, and you said initially meeting Forest Whitaker with your white partners, as you put it, the white guy. Well,
yeah,
grandmother.
my Caucasian distant cousins. You know what I'm saying? They actually really believed in me, and to this day, you know, Joanne and Jim, they're an extended family. I added their last name to my last name, so my name is Markuann Smith Atchison. You know what I'm saying? So we went down this journey together. We definitely went down this journey together to tell a story that needed to be told. You know,
this show Inside Hollywood, I want to educate the people and let them know somewhat of the process of how something like The Godfather of Harlem came into fruition. So talk to me about that long, strenuous process. How long was that? 13 scripts once initially meeting Forest Whitaker?
Well, initially from my 18-year process, it took about 5 years to get it to where it's at right now. But we had to find a writer. So, you know, up late at night looking through IMDb, through my favorite gangster movies, I ended up coming across 2 amazing writers. One's name is Chris Brancato, the other is Paul Eckstein. And for people who don't know out there, Chris Brancato created the TV series Narcos, but he also wrote the first movie Hoodlum with Bill Duke and Lawrence Fishburne. And it was so funny because one day I was talking to my partner on the phone because we were looking for writers. I was getting spec scripts from WME, CAA, UTA. All the agencies were just giving me spec scripts. And I said, hey, Jim, you know Chris Brancato? He said, yeah. He lives across the street from me. See, it only could happen in a world like that where just all the stars aligned. He was like, yeah, he comes over to my house every day or every Sunday. You know, Joanne makes him a great Italian dish. And it really happened like that, you know, to have the creative Narcos living next door to my partner, literally right across the street. So Jim reached out to him, but at the time he couldn't commit to doing it because he was working on another pilot called Las Sirenas that was on CBS, I believe. And the El Chapo, it was the El Chapo biopic, the limited series he was doing. And those didn't get picked up. But we had Paul Eckstein, who was his partner, who knew about Bumpy because Bumpy put his grandmother through college. And Paul was actually on Hoodlum and Narcos with Chris because that's his partner. So Paul committed to me verbally and said, you know, I love your energy. You remind me of me when I was younger. Let's go get this done. So Paul committed for the first 6 months writing. Then Chris came on board on the tail end, was like, you know what? There's a way that we could tell this story so it's not the story you saw before, like the Harlem Renaissance story. Let's tell it from the eyes of Bumpy coming home from Alcatraz. And let's tell it through the log line of the collision between civil rights and the underworld. And then the Godfather of Harlem was born.
And that's where we see a lot of the like Malcolm X within storyline and how a gangster and a civil rights leader can come together and actually make some things happen. So I see how you.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are not Hollywood embellishment stories. These are true stories that from tons of research that I did in the Schomburg Museum in Harlem and YouTube interviews and Alex Haley interviews and interviews with old timers, OGs that, you know, Malcolm was definitely part of Bumpy's life. Malcolm played chess with Bumpy on Sundays. Bumpy didn't really have a lot of people come to his home, but Malcolm was one of those individuals that came to his home. And people fail to realize before Malcolm X, he was Detroit Red, right? Malcolm Little, Detroit Red. So, of course, that element of Malcolm was a pimp, he was a junkie, those paths had to cross. So when Malcolm passed away, Bumpy made sure every vendor in Harlem contributed to his funeral. So their relationship was really a real relationship and not some type of Hollywood embellishment story.
Wow. Now, when it comes to the book, Harlem Godfather, The Rap of My Husband, Ellsworth, Bumpy Johnson, that book, is it loosely based off of that book because it has, you know, a similar title, but and the person that wrote it is Mamie Johnson. How you say her name?
Her name is Mamie Johnson, and you know, it's always been in discussions that the series was taken after the book, and I can absolutely say it wasn't, because that story that Mamie wrote was Bumpy Johnson, Madam Sinclair. We're telling it from a 60s perspective. We didn't dive back into the Harlem Renaissance, number one, and that was from Mamie's perspective. This is from Margaret's perspective, through her eyes. You know, Margaret had a script called Daddy's Little Girl that she was shopping at the time back in 2001, 2002 that I was trying to help her with. The only similarity is the name, but we, you know, especially as a creator, you really don't want to dive into somebody else's work and then someone says, hey, this is what I did. So we didn't touch that at all. This is totally about, you know, Adam Clayton Powell, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Vinny the Chin. It's a story about three worlds. You know, it's a story about Pleasant Avenue, about Spanish Harlem, about Central Harlem, and you know, what I was told the book was about Bumpy, you know, coming up in Harlem in his early times. You saw that story before with Hoodlum. This story was about the 60s. This story was about perseverance, a man trying to change, you know, from being the man that he was before he went to Alcatraz to the man that he came home to in the 1960s and everything that was going on. It's so parallel to what's going on today. If you think about it, the Harlem riots is Al Ferguson, right? Muhammad Ali is our Colin Kaepernick, you know what I'm saying? Breonna Taylor is James Powell all over again. You know what I'm saying? So everything is parallel to what's happening in our universe that we live in right now.
Well said, Markuann. Well said. Now, Mamie Johnson is his widow, correct?
Absolutely.
And Margaret, your grandmother, is what exactly to Bumpy?
No, Margaret is not my grandmother. She's my godmother.
Godmother.
And Margaret adopted me as her godson late in life because a good friend of mine, so I call her my cousin, she was actually best friends with his mother. And she took a liking to me, and I used to come over there, and she used to tell me, boy, you better bring me some beef tongue when you come over here. So I used to go get her a beef tongue sandwich, and I would just sit there, and she used to weave these magical stories, you know. Her house was actually like a museum. You would see Bumpy's old chess sets, you know, clothing. It was just a 60s memorabilia, you know. Yeah. And we became so close over the years. I used to check on her to make sure during the holidays she was good, because she was, you know, she was an older lady living in Lenox Terrace, and she was fierce. I mean, I'll tell you something funny. She was wheelchair bound, right? She was on a motorized scooter one day, and she had this mangy dog, like this poodle that had spots all over it. And the people in the neighborhood used to say that she was mean, because she would be mean if she didn't know you. I say she was very independent and assertive. So she's downstairs, and one summer day in her motorized wheelchair with the Mary Poppins basket in the front, and a guy tries to stick her up. She takes out her .357 and shoots him in the ass and in the elbow, and he runs into McDonald's, and he ends up trying to sue her. And on the Daily News, they call her Granny Oakley. You know what I'm saying? And this is all public record that you can look it up and find it. She was really loyal. She was really fierce, and she was an independent woman who loved her father.
Oh, God bless your godmother.
Yeah.
That story. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. Yeah. When it comes to, because I want to get back to you and just your journey in Hollywood. Yep. As you know, people, you know, you hear it often. It's so hard to tap into Hollywood. And you said earlier, it took a full 18 years to yep. be here. And congratulations on season 2, because that's coming up.
Thank you.
So yeah. What would you say for you was the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome during this process?
You know what it was with me? I come from a place, I come out the mud. I come from a place in Harlem called 128th and St. Nick Projects. Then I migrated to Queens, Far Rockaway, and shout out to Stack Bundles, Chinks Drugs, Father MC, everybody that's from out there, you know. And that's not a place of people elevating all the time, because sometimes it just grabs you down. And I started off in music, and when my older brother, Father MC, got signed to Uptown Records, you know, he showed me there was a place for me. He showed me different environments, different cultures. I mean, I remember coming down to Chicago and Detroit, you know, Young Boys Incorporated, best friends, going down to Chicago, meeting people. You know, I was a young kid, like hanging around with gangsters. But what kept me sane when I was in Far Rockaway was being in a dark room watching movies. You know, that's what kind of drowned out everything that was around me. You know, I used to watch Rebel Without a Cause on the waterfront. Once Upon a Time in America was one of my favorite movies, and I used to get to know all the directors, like, yo, that's Sergio Leone, that's Martin Scorsese, that's Francis Coppola, and it kind of like painted pictures in my mind of how I wanted to tell stories, and I wasn't scared to color outside the lines, because you could color outside the lines and still have a beautiful picture. And yeah, I just wanted to do something different. So fast forward to what you asked me, back to your question, I think my biggest obstacle was I got 1,000 no's before I got one yes. And I tell people, don't look at my breakthrough. Look what I've been through. Mm-hmm. I mean, who would have thought that, you know, a kid from Far Rockaway just got an Emmy? You know, our show just won an Emmy on Saturday. You feel what I'm saying? That's like kind of like amazing to me, you know. But
hey, gotta ring my bell for that.
Yeah. But I always shout out to Peter Pack and the great guys from Digital Kitchen who did the amazing title sequence, and Swiss Beats and Grady and all these dope individuals. And I was just a kid with a dream. And I always say this: you could dream it. If you dream it, you can achieve it. It's up to you. See, one thing I say this, Jazz, a lot of people want success. And I know, because you're from the D, you're from the 313, I've seen your journey, right? But people don't want to eat tuna fish sandwiches. People don't want to sleep on people's couches because they can't afford a hotel. People don't want to take buddy passes knowing they have a meeting at Netflix on Monday morning, hoping Sunday you can get out of JFK. I've been there. So a lot of people say they want success, but they're not ready for success. You know what I'm saying? And I tell people all the time, there's no bunk beds in the graveyard, meaning that you have one life, one opportunity, one chance. You can either chase your pension or chase your passion. That's up to you. And I decided to chase my passion.
There you go. One of my favorite lines from you. That's your infamous quote. Don't
Yeah,
chase
absolutely.
your passion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Why wait till you 62 years old to get, 50 years old? Now you can get pancakes for half off. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You get your Rudy Tooty pancakes. You got your ARP card. You got your your skeeters. Nah, that's not me, man. I'm gonna get it right now. You know what I'm saying? Because tomorrow is not promised to you.
Well, we appreciate you, pushing through and making your dreams come true, and ultimately giving us, the people, great entertainment. We love the show, and congratulations on the Emmy as well. Now, one of my last questions I want to ask you: we've seen movies like Paid in Full, American Gangster, and now with this show, Godfather of Harlem. Any other street legends you feel that you would love to tap into their story so you could give to the people to enjoy as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm working on some projects right now, and I'll give you a few. One is Larry Davis. If you know about Larry Davis was from the Bronx, and I'm doing it with Larima Davis's daughter, and the Larry Davis estate. Larry Davis was somebody that said, you know what, fuck you. Crooked cops tried to force him to sell drugs at the age of 17 when he didn't want to do it anymore. They came to his house and tried to assassinate him. He had New York on standby, I think, for like 17 days. He was on the run. And it happened on my birthday, November 19th. You know what I'm saying? So this is an amazing story that I want to tell, and hopefully will be. I have a lot of people that have interest in it. And there's another legend from Oakland. His name is Darryl Reed. And for all you folks out there, he's a great brother. He did 28 years. He was the youngest kingpin out of Oakland that got incarcerated. The thing that's so special about Darryl was he did 28 years and Obama gave him clemency. Obama let him out at an early age, and he's here. He does a lot of community work, and he's trying to right his wrongs right now. So I like to tell stories that mean something, that's meaningful. I don't want you to tell me you got the next drug dealer. So what? There's a Martin Luther King Boulevard in every hood, a Malcolm X Boulevard in every hood, a South Side in every hood. If you don't have an A story, a B story, and a C story to weave those arcs together, it doesn't make sense.
This is my professional hour. We're going to run through these questions. Usually, Warren's one-word answers for the most part.
Okay.
Or a quick story. First, what is your favorite TV show of all time?
My favorite TV show of all time that I've ever seen, it would have to be, I love Good Times.
I knew you was going to say that. I feel like we've been friends for too long.
I love Good Times.
Most memorable moment on set.
When I was in a scene with Forest and Giancarlo Esposito and Vincent D'Onofrio. It's just so amazing. I'm on here with three greats, three legends, three veterans.
Mm-hmm. Break down the scene just for the people that haven't seen it. What was it? What was happening?
Well, one of the scenes I was actually Vincent had showed up at a dock, and he was arguing with Chaz Palminteri about money, right? Mm-hmm. And they walk into a warehouse, and I'm actually overseeing the drug operation. And Chaz says to Chaz actually calls Vincent D'Onofrio out his name, you know what I'm saying? So it was just amazing, the energy that was in the room. I'm like, yo, Paul Sabino was in there too from Goodfellas, Big Paulie. It was like, yo, I'm actually working scenes, I'm actually working my craft, my method with these amazing actors.
Biggest advice you've gotten for Forest Whitaker?
Become part of your scene. Don't act like you're acting, but the thing about acting is to make people believe that you're not acting. You feel what I'm saying? Everything is natural. And he sat down and talked to me many nights, like talked me off the ledge. And he's actually, I could say, a big brother to me, from the things, always like showing me love, whether it's on Jimmy Kimmel, late night shows, Good Morning America, just saying, I've inspired him with my tenacity and ambition to make this project happen, because this wasn't easy. Imagine sitting in a room trying to pitch a project with an Oscar, Academy Award-winning actor, and an Emmy-nominated writer, and everybody turning you down. And it takes one person, a guy by the name of Michael Wright, who's the president of Epix, that says, we need to have this story told. You feel what I'm saying? So you would think that it's a slam dunk when you walk into these big streaming companies, and it wasn't. So yeah, Forest has taught me a lot.
What can we expect from season 2?
Man, it's gonna be hell up in Harlem, baby. Hell up in Harlem. You're gonna see more Junie Bird. You're gonna see more of Malcolm X. You're gonna see. Remember this, right? Godfather of Harlem is historical events that really happened. So the first year was 1963. The second is 64, 65, 66, 67, 68. You're gonna see Malcolm leaving the nation. His little tit riff with Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You're gonna see about drugs coming. Yeah, you're gonna see drugs coming in. You know what I'm saying?
Before you go, when it's all said and done, Markuann, how would you like to be remembered? When it's all said and done, what do you want the people to say about Markuann Smith?
I was just a kid from Far Rockaway / Harlem with his dreams, and he believed in never giving up on them. And I wasn't scared to color outside the lines. It's a famous quote that I like by an actor by the name of James Dean. He says, "Dream like you live forever, live like you die today." And I hope what I've done can inspire other people to create. And put it like this, right? If you knock down opportunity's door and it doesn't open for you, go to Home Depot, buy your own lumber and build your own door. And that's what I did.
Hey, that's the motto. Create the way. Ooh.
Yeah.
Listen,
absolutely.
Markuann, thank you so much. And again, I just want to congratulate you. You've been my friend for over 10 years. I don't know, it's longer than that.
Yeah, it's longer than that.
I've seen your journey. You've seen my journey. And we long talks. Let's try to keep pushing through. And just because you are where you are right now, I see even more great things coming for you. I see you pushing through more. You're an inspiration to me. So I just want you to continue to be that for everyone else, including myself. And congratulations, my friend.
Shit, we've been friends since Bobby Brown was with New Edition, before Johnny Gill came in.
That's what's up. And thank you for many times of calling me off the ledge, because it's times that I wanted to give up, yo, you got this.
And one thing I can say about this, and I'm not just saying this, I'm really proud of you. I saw your journey, I saw your dreams, I saw you establish a brand, and I know what it is for a Black queen in the business that we working, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm going to keep saying that I'm proud of you until I take my last breath, Jazz. I'm very proud of you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Love you, Markuann. So we'll talk soon.
Love you too.
Here. Okay.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.